45 minutes an hour.
Yeah, okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eaglevp's one-to-one interview with Patrick Conlon from Ireland. So, good evening, Patrick. Pleased that you have come on my live stream.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
Well, I've been trying to get you for quite a while, I believe. I've sent you quite a few invites, haven't I? If I remember.
I play hard to get.
Yeah, you do. And I see that Owen Williams is in. So good evening, Owen. So I see that you have started doing reviews on your channel, drone reviews, picking out individual droners. So before I ask you to introduce yourself, can you let us into how many more of these review shows you've got lined up with fellow drone enthusiasts?
Well, the reviewing of their footage, I think, is going to be a little bit easier than the one-on-ones, in as much as, well, all they're doing is sending me a link to the video in question, and the format I've been following so far has been really just to, you know, play the footage, watch it carefully, take notes, and hope that everyone else who's watching it is also taking a couple of notes too, and then just play it again and go through it. And it's quite spontaneous, and some things I pick up on, and then there's some things that other people within the chat pick up on, which is important to me too. And I kind of am hoping that it becomes more a show where everyone can participate, and I can learn from them, and they can learn perhaps if there's anything that I have picked up along the way that might be of interest. And I think for smaller, I mean, when I say smaller, basically the old adage is, if you know, you only have to know a little bit more than the people you're talking to be able to provide some sort of value. I in no way consider myself an expert in remote control or in drones at all, but I think I've watched and I've learned, and I've been out enough now to give me a little bit of experience to be able to share that with others. So if I can do that and provide some sort of value, well, then I'm happy with that.
Well, that's great. We've got DJ Ian Entertainment. He's a DJ from Runcorn, or that area, near Liverpool. He flies a drone. He's been doing the Mersey Gateway project, the new bridge over the Mersey. Updating that about every week or every 2 weeks, which has been fantastic. He gets a lot of views on that. Really does. So just going into questions then. Number one is, could you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, please, Patrick.
Okay, I'll give you the elevator version and not the pint of Guinness version in the interests of time. Well, my name's Patrick Conlon. I'm based in Ireland. I only quite recently got into droning, I would say within the last year. Basically, all the content that's up on the channel, kind of got into it half by accident, probably through my other workload that I can briefly go into at some stage. I kind of realized in the world of marketing an awful lot of talk around the theme of video, and video is the future, and video is now what companies need to use. And I've always had a keen interest in marketing themes, so I've tried to stay on top of that. So I kind of just got more into watching YouTube because I'd heard about audience retention and how important it was. And then just through a series of events, I guess it started because I had another YouTube channel which was called Selling Online Today, but that originally started as a podcast where I would interview. So I have been in the interviewing game for a while, and I would interview people in the UK and Ireland who specialized in selling online on eBay and on Amazon and on their website all at the same time. The concept's called multi-channel e-commerce. So I had a guy in India and in America who would try to organize the interviews for me. I would do the recordings through Skype and Adobe Audition, and then I would send these off to be edited by a guy in England who would have, you know, tweaked them and shortened them and got the interest. And I would upload that to iTunes and started to get people interested. And then I thought to myself, well, I mean, I go on to YouTube anytime I want to know, you know, the best way to resize images or best metadata for eBay, etc. And then I thought, well, I'll start doing eBay tutorials because it's easier for me to just talk directly to the audience as opposed to the amount of time and effort I was spending trying to get 8 interviews over a 2-month period. As you had mentioned, the back and forth and calling people on the phone and them not there and not knowing. And it just got to the point where it was depending too much on other people. So I started doing my own YouTube videos where I would share information on tips to sell on eBay and Amazon. And then I used to send that off to a guy in Romania who would edit all of the footage. So all those videos that you see on the Selling Online Today channel, the first 20 of those, I was paying someone to edit those for me. And my wife she's a social worker, so her workload involved her when she was preparing to move to another job. She was preparing for the interview for months, and every evening we really weren't watching any TV, or she was busy studying for her interview. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to learn to edit these videos myself because I'm spending that much money. And plus the fact that I always enjoyed the idea of video. I was an amateur photographer and had done a bit of video editing when I was a student with huge old systems. And I just thought, I can learn this. And then I just started to learn it. And that's when I came across Casey Neistat and all these people and all of us. But I was really just Googling video editing. And then they were saying, oh, he's a good guy at doing it. And this guy and that guy. And that's really where it all came to me then, editing the videos myself. And then I thought to myself, well, yeah, let's start doing something a bit more fun. Get out there. And that's where the drone and all came in. And but all sort of has developed. It wasn't a conscious, I'm going to start a part. So the business, I would say the business channel was the Selling Online Today one. And then the personal channel is more enjoyable for me because it's really the editing skills, the flying skills, all that type of thing. And I've always had an interest in photography. So I had some equipment anyway. So it was only a question of adding on to that. Does that help?
Yeah, that's brilliant, Patrick. So does your wife participate in your hobby at all then?
No, not at all. She would. So it was really during that 2-month period where, you know, I had 2 hours every evening, more or less. I thought to myself, I'm going to learn how to use video editing. And that's when I just sort of took the leap. And no, well, I mean, I do the typical family videos. There might be a couple even on the channel there where we're out with the kids and that sort of thing. So she doesn't really like to be on camera, but not because of anything other than, you know, I don't have my makeup on or I look a mess or all these types of things. So, but no, she wouldn't consider herself to be quite technically inclined in that way. So.
And what about your son? Because I know you've got a son, because I've seen him on some of your videos. You took him hiking and flying the Phantom.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 6, so he likes to get out and every night I use it as an excuse to, you know, it's almost like the way big marketing gurus will talk about social media. You know, the young ones today are all the time on their social media, but it's actually forcing them to get out to the countryside because they want to take good photos for their Snapchat stories or their Instagram stories. So it's actually having the opposite effect. Before it was keeping us in playing video games. Now it's getting them out because everybody wants to see them out and about and being cool and up in the mountains and all this carry on. So in a certain sense, it's also forcing me to go out more and to hike more, which I think ultimately is a good thing.
Yeah, it is, definitely, because you get plenty of exercise, don't you?
Yeah.
So at the moment, we've got 9 watching. We've got Owen Williams in. We've got Uncanny Kyle. We've got Corbin Connection Comedy. We've got Boss Man. We've got Jennifer in. and we've got Robert Stanton, who's a droner as well over in the States.
Wow. Well, welcome over.
We've just got Pixie's channel. He's just coming. I don't know whether you watch any of those at all. They're on the live streams with me. Bossman's, he does a lot of live streaming. Pixie's channel, he's from Sheffield. He does a lot of live streaming because that seems to be the way of YouTube at the moment. You know, okay. I would like, I mean, I have got OBS on my system as well, Patrick, and looking at what you do with OBS is very good, but you can't do a Hangout live stream on OBS. You can do a Skype.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which is okay. I mean, my question, what I'm, obviously the word on the street is, yeah, you got to do live streaming. It's very important to help channel growth. YouTube favors it more, blah de blah. That remains to be seen. Hopefully that's the case. But in this case, for example, I'm participating in your show. I'm very happy to do so. And, you know, there's a benefit to your audience and a benefit to me in as much as, well, hopefully your guests might like what I do, and perhaps there'll be, you know, some audience interaction there and follow up with that. But when I'm interviewing, like, what is there in this for you interviewing me other than your, you know, your audience enjoying the interview? Yeah,
basically, I just like to get to know fellow YouTubers.
Yeah.
Because I am a drone enthusiast, and you are a very good you've got a very good drone channel, and a bit of vlogging that you do. You show us scenes of a wonderful country island, which I've been to quite a few times. So to me, it's just a chance of really getting to know you a bit more as a person. Not just watching your videos and seeing you talking on your videos. That is the reason why I really started these one-to-ones. I've been interviewed a couple of times myself, and like you, I had my own video filming business. I was always behind the camera. I never felt at ease in front of the camera. So that was really what motivated me to do these one-to-one live streams. I think I've got a bit more confident over the 25 or so one-to-ones that I've done. I also enjoy joining other people's live streams, although I tend to sit back a lot and listen to other people talking. But the one-to-one basis, especially with seeing somebody and getting a reaction and talking to them, I find this is fascinating. It's brilliant, because with being my age, if I'd have had this when I had my own video filming business, oh, what a great thing it would be. You know, I mean, I used to video spawn with about 10 or 11 people throughout the world, where I had to go out, use my camera, film in, I'll then edit it all and put it on a 3-hour tape. And in those days, it was a reel-to-reel VHS recorders, and that took hours and hours and hours. And then you've got to do the graphics separately and everything. And, you know, I wish this had been around then, because I had some very good video sponders who I used to talk to. You know, I mean, some of those who I used to talk to started in amateur radio, ham radio, and developed the skills into video sponding. Now you've got the live streams on Skype, on Hangouts, YouTube, and you know, the people that I've met through this, the community we've got built up. There's a core of about 80 or 90 now in the community that has really grown. Although we're not as big as you, you know, I mean, I think I've got 885 subscribers, and I've been on YouTube since 2007, but starting in January of this year, I only had 250 subscribers because I'd never worked on my channel. I just put up holiday videos and whatever. I set a goal back in January of reaching 500 subscribers by December this year. Now the target is over 1,000. hopefully. So I've got what, 115 or thereabouts to go.
Yeah.
But it's only since I've been joining live streams and doing live streams that the channel count has gone up.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, and I look at things, Patrick, and I think, there I am. I go out because I'm a wildlife videographer. I love filming wildlife, and I'll sit and hide for 8-10 hours a day, and might only get 5 seconds of footage. But I enjoy that. But you upload wildlife videos, and I was lucky if I got 10 views on it.
Yeah.
The channel wasn't growing. But since I've been into live streaming, and especially the one-to-ones, the channel is growing, you know. And I mean, last week's one-to-one I did with Jenna Pettigrew, and at that I had the most viewings. I had what, about 29-30 views while I was live, which I've never had. I mean, we've got 10 watching now. Yeah. The average I normally get is about 10 to 15 watching.
Yeah.
But I don't do any promotional work, you know, to let people know. But I have on yours, because I think you are a very, very interesting guy. You've got a very, very interesting channel. So I'm hoping that this one-to-one will promote your channel. I hope my subscribers will go over and subscribe to you. And you can take this and put it on your channel if you want to. You know, that's up to you. So we've talked a bit about your businesses. You're selling online. Have you got any other business or businesses?
You make me sound like I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Well, you are in it, you know. I mean, I know you've got your. Well, I'll let you tell people.
Yeah. So yes, I also have a shoe shop based in the town in which the bigger town, just about 15 minutes from me. It's Enniskillen, which is quite commonly known anyway. And I have a shoe shop there where I sell women's shoes. Why on earth did I get into selling women's shoes, I hear you say? Well, I'd probably need to go back slightly for this, and I won't go into it much on this occasion because we could go on quite a while. But I studied abroad when I was, 16 in Northern Ireland was a troublesome place, as you well know. I wanted to get away from it all. I managed to get a scholarship to go and study in Dublin, and then I went over and studied in Spain and learned Spanish, and then I was working in Spain and Mexico and America and all that type of thing for these international language academies. And I kind of got into doing their marketing, and that's where the interest in marketing came back. So when I came back to Ireland, which was in 2003, after being away for about 10 to 12 years, I wanted to start my own marketing thing to help other businesses. But then when I was doing that for a while, I kind of got sick of helping other businesses promote their stuff, and I thought, I want to have my own stuff to sell directly to the public and use all the stuff that I know about marketing for that. So that's when I started a magazine for women, which was like a fashion-based magazine, and I was putting it into all the hotels in the northwest of Northern and Southern Ireland. And when I was going around all the towns getting advertising, I was out selling advertising to the businesses and saying this is going to be stocked in all the 5-star hotels, blah, blah, blah. I noticed there was a gap in the market for these like very quirky, unique types of shoes. And I noticed in my own town, the local shoe shops didn't have them. So I thought, let's give it a go. And I opened a very small shop and started to sell them online at the same time, which really kept me. I probably opened it at the worst time at the beginning of the recession, 2007. And then through selling them online and a series of circumstances, I managed to move to a bigger unit and get some brands and just build the business. So now it's kind of, touch wood, it'll continue to grow. So I've had that for about 5 years now. And I would like to think that hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah. Well, I think you've done well. You know, I mean, I've seen your live broadcast on your other channel, Selling One, where you're live to Facebook and YouTube at the same time in the shoe shop itself. You know, I found it very, very interesting. You know, I mean, there's not many people that I know are doing that. I mean, as you said, it is going to grow eventually. I mean, I work for a company, or I helped a company out in Scotland that was called My Town on Video. And up to the recession, that did very well. What we used to do was go around to small businesses and film the small businesses with their voiceover or a professional voiceover, and then charge them. I think that he charged them something like £30 a month to go on My Town on Video's website, and it was, you know, if it was a franchise type of thing where if I got the franchise for Cleethorpes, and it would be My Town Cleethorpes on video, and he took about 25% of the income, and I had the 75%, which was a brilliant idea. Recession came, and these businesses just stopped doing it in 2008, 2009.
Yes. Yeah, and perhaps on that note, we have another synergy here, because when I came back from Spain, as a way of getting into the marketing business arena faster, I bought a UK franchise called The Best Of, which was very famous in England during those years, and I had The Best of Enniskillen. It's the same. There was My Town, or Up My Street, and On Your Doorstep, and all this type of thing. And, you know, in My Town on Video is a similar type of operation where it was going around and selling advertising to the businesses to get them online through video. In your case, in my case, it was through SEO and different other technical things that were big at the time. So yeah.
So similar backgrounds then.
Certainly in that area. So
I've mentioned that you do this live stream review show. So and you've mentioned a little bit about it. So how are you finding the live streaming at present?
Well, I've just started to dabble my toes into it, more so now because we're coming into the winter, and I foresee that my escapades out with the drone will become less and less due to weather and lighting conditions, as we all know, based in the UK and Ireland. And so I thought to myself, I'll go down that route and interview other drone enthusiasts over the winter and see if I can learn anything, and if they can learn anything, just the same sort of thing. But I find that reviewing the drone footage has been very interesting for others and easier for me to organize, because they're just sending me a link and saying, here, Patrick, I'd love you to look at my stuff and give me some tips. And I think that that has provided an awful lot of value to the people involved. The one-on-one, I've only done one, as you know, and that was with Matthew last week. And yes, I enjoyed it, but I foresee the same type of obstacles as perhaps with the interviewing people for Selling Online Today and the podcast. The organization behind getting each interview could become somewhat time consuming, and I am not sure if it'll be as easy as I imagine, as I would like it to be. But listen, I'll invite people to be interviewed like yourself and like others who are into it, and hopefully it'll work fine. But otherwise, I'll just review footage and do it as a solo thing.
Yeah. Because you know, I mean, that's what I found as well. Reviewing the footage. I mean, my review show is entirely different to yours. I mean, I picked 3 channels out and just put the footage on and just introduce those channels, because I always used to leave a comment and say, can I review your channel? Could you tell me a bit about your channel and a bit about yourself? And I never got a reply. So now I just put it up. I just, you know, download it and put it up, and that's it. Because you get no assistance or no help from anyone, really. And the drone community is a very big community. But when you look online, how many people put drone footage on? But I tell you what, though, Patrick, there's a lot of rubbish out there in the drone world.
Yes, and I actually, when I started, I thought there's nobody doing this. And then after about 2 weeks, I realized, like, holy shit, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if it's so saturated the market. But like you said, I started to see, because I would spend some time, an awful lot of time actually looking at other videos, and because you'll pick up tips and tricks. I'm very much of that school of thought of learning from others who know more than you. And but I quickly realized there's a lot of people just firing up footage, and not a bit of wonder they're not getting any views, or they're not getting any sort of interaction. So I really want to make my drone tell a story, really get into storytelling, and try to create interesting stories and have drone footage around that. Now, part of being a droner, probably your story can be the drone outing.
Yeah. Well, that is the story, isn't it? You going out, getting ready, going wherever you do, and then a bit of footage, aerial footage, a bit of ground footage. If you've got a GoPro and there's a stream, a bit of underwater footage, you make it interesting. And perhaps a bit of voiceover job, or a commentary with the background music, all makes a video more interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I want to continue to make videos, and make good videos, and get better at making them, because there is a part of me that likes to really get it, like, as I get into selling online, I really get into it, and I learn how to sell on Amazon, eBay, and websites all at the same time, all interlinked. And then I get into something else, and I really tend to go down deep and try to get to the bottom of it. So likewise with the editing of videos and the making of videos, I'll not just content myself with firing up a couple of videos. I'll try and learn the techniques and see what other people are doing and what editing skills, and see, can I emulate them. And the problem is obviously time, to learn everything. It's just, as Socrates said, the more I know, the more I know nothing.
Yeah, I agree with that statement, very much so.
So, and the more you got to learn. So I guess that's all part of
it. I'm just looking at some. Can you see any of the comments?
No, but that doesn't mean I may not just be looking in the right place.
Yeah. Well, it's you've got Pixie's channel says, is there any chance of any free shoes? Owen Williams says you need to be unique. My uniqueness is that he's a little. I'm not repeating that. Amber Pixie says, guys, don't forget to share the video on your social media. Ossie Markson, learning and then sharing. That's learning is a successful tip. Yeah. So we've got 10 still in, which is very, very good.
Very good. Well, thank you for tuning in.
As I say, you are a very interesting person. I mean, I've seen back a year ago how you started with your YouTube channel on the drone side. I've seen the vast improvement. So you are learning, you are picking up tips from other people that you watch, other YouTube channels. So in the next 5 years, how can you see your channel developing then?
Well, hopefully I want to stick at it, and that's why I don't want to burn myself out either by going bananas. I want to just steadily make it grow and learn with it and make it enjoyable, which is the way I feel about it right now. Where do I see it in the next 5 years? I don't know. Hopefully I'll get to, I think it's an incremental thing, and I'm just kind of biding my time and trying to follow the best practices on YouTube for channel growth, and hoping that it'll reach a little bit of a tipping point where the likes of Ken Heron and people in the States, where it seemed like a slow slog up until they reached about 10,000, and then it kind of seemed to snowball a bit more from there. So I think you have to be in it for the long game, and that's from channel growth end of things. Yeah, that's fine, as long as I can provide the value and create that type of community where I'm helping others. There's always part of us that like helping others, you know, so and I already have got tremendous satisfaction out of different comments that and feedback that I've got back. And I think that there's, you know, there's a level of, you know, you've all these young ones, 16, 18, 19-year-olds that all want to be famous and all this type of thing. But I think that there's an awful lot of people, you know, from 25, I think in my stats, between 25 and 45, there's an awful lot of people watch my channel. And then there's 45 upwards that watch them too. You know, that's an audience that needs targeted. So it's not all about, you know, the 18-year-old makeup artists where L'Oreal might want to give them a brand deal. There's an awful lot of products that are directed towards people that are over 30, over 40, over 50, and over 60. And the brands would need people like you that can tap into that audience if that's the route that you want to go down. So I believe that it's not just a young person's game. And, you know, you see there are people that are, you know, grow spuds in their back garden and they have 100,000 followers. Because there are many people throughout the world that want to grow their own vegetables out the back and don't know how to do it. So from that point of view, so where do I see my channel in a few years, to get back to you? Well, I hope it's more of a storytelling, interesting channel where I can tell stories in a very unique way using cinematography and storytelling in a brief way. So watch this space.
Yeah, I will do, and I hope the others will. Bossman Production says, hold on, I've missed it. Very interesting guy. You're a brilliant guy. So that's a good one.
Well, thank you.
Bossman, how many questions have I got tonight? Oh, I've got quite a few. Don't worry. I've told him a few of them, haven't I, Patrick?
Yeah, I'll work away.
Yeah, so I'm going to get on. What do you think your weaknesses are as a YouTuber? Not as a person, but, you know, with your channel at present.
As a YouTuber, I would say at the moment my weakness might be that I'm more interested in producing the videos that I want to produce and not necessarily what the audience want me to produce. And, you know, for a long time, I didn't want to do any live streams. I didn't want to I didn't want to do too many tech reviews. And then people started to say, oh, could you not show us a wee bit of editing on how you do your stuff? And I actually posted one there this morning, which is the first one. I know you commented, and thank you for that, where I just took a thing that I wanted to try and just filmed myself learning it. So it'll be interesting to see, is that something that people like and enjoy? And I might go down that route. I don't care that people know, because I have no real economic interest in it as such. I don't care that everybody knows how to do it and what I use and what gear I have. And, you know, there's no trade secrets. So from that point of view, and YouTube seems to be quite an open community. Like everything I know about Final Cut Pro, I've learned from YouTube.
Yeah.
I haven't needed to buy a £100 course or anything like that. Now, I've bought bits and pieces of software and that, but everything you can find out online. So I want to also help people find their stuff that they want, that I might be able to help them with. So my downside perhaps has been where I've been too set on, you know, I'm going to get them this and I'm going to go out and film this and I'm going to say it this way, when perhaps they might be looking for something else. I'm not sure yet. I'm still learning that end of things.
Yeah. Well, as you said, there's a lot of tutorial videos on editing on YouTube, but every editor is different. Everyone, because I mean, I want to try and get, I don't know whether you've seen that film, A Day in the Life, Ridley Scott's film. I wanted to do that in our little community where we all film what happens in one particular day of our life. Yeah,
Okay.
it's on YouTube. It's called A Day in the Life, and it's Ridley Scott to film themselves for a day. And I don't know how many YouTubers actually did, and they sent all the footage to him, and he made a film out of the film. Absolutely brilliant. If you haven't seen it, go over and watch it.
I think now that you mention it, I did see part of it, but I will revisit that based on your comments there. Yeah.
So I want to do that. You know, I want about 20 to 25 of us film on a particular day when I get it all sorted. I've got about 5 or 6 people who are willing to do it at the moment. We all go out and film what we do on that particular day, and then we all upload it to YouTube as unlisted. So we all download each other's footage, and then we all edit it. And I want to see the results of the 20 or 25 people, how we all edit things differently, because we all edit things differently. No matter who you are, you watch a video and you think, yeah, that's a good technique, like what you did this morning. Absolutely brilliant technique. But somebody else would do it a bit slightly different, use a different effect on it, different filters and everything like that, you know. So the way you did it, I thought was excellent, but somebody else could take that footage and just put another effect in with that effect. You know? So that's the way we all individually differ in our editing skills.
Yes, yeah. I'm fascinated by the theme of storytelling. And, you know, I've always been told that I can get into, you know, I can tell a good story, and, you know, so I want to be able to portray that in film and see, can I do it in a meaningful way. So that's kind of, and as I've mentioned on many of my videos this year, my goal for 2017 was to get comfortable in front of the camera. Because like yourself, and at the beginning I found it very tough I sort of would be like, this just isn't me, this just isn't natural, this is not me, and I had to work on that quite a lot. I'm getting better, but I still, I mean, my brother, who obviously is your family or your worst critics, he's like, Patrick, you really got to take some acting classes. You're useless on that thing. So, you know, it's still not there 100%, but from the feedback I get, I do obviously come across natural at times, but at other times I do feel it's a bit forced, and I want to get rid of that totally.
I'm the same. My wife's the same with me. She hates my voice on videos, so I never used to do a voiceover. And when I'm doing the review show, she looks at it and she goes, "You're not talking like you normally do." And I go, "Well, come on, tell me what I'm doing wrong." And she says, "Well, you're forcing it." So she says, "Become a bit more relaxed." She says, she watches me one-to-ones and she says, "You're relaxed in those." She says, "Why is that?" I says, "Because it's like I'm talking to somebody who's in the room, because you are in my room and I'm talking to you." Whereas when I'm doing the review show, you haven't got that interaction. And that's why to do a review show as you do it, you know, on OBS with the footage behind and talking like you do, I would find that very hard. It's like doing a live stream where there's only you and you're answering the chat, or you're talking to the people in the chat window. I can't do those because I would be forcing myself. But on a one-to-one or in a chat room where there's people live, I'm very relaxed. You know, so it's just the way people are, isn't it? It's like I can go out and sell anything on the doors, a complete stranger. I'm at ease because I know what I'm doing, because before I started the video business, I started 5 fish round businesses, because I live in Grimsby, or Cleethorpes, which is Grimsby is the next town, and it was the largest fishing port in Europe. And when I left school at 15, I was an apprentice diesel fitter. Didn't like getting my hands mucky, so I started a fresh fish round, because quite a lot of people used to do that, and I used to work 3 days a week and make £1,200 for 3 days' work, when the average wage was only £30 or £40 in those days. So, you know, but in those days, because I was young, I tended to
be more frivolous.
Yeah, and spend it on things that I enjoyed. You know, I wasted a lot of money in those days. But that's things, and it happens and everything. So just looking at the comments, Jeanette, I've just subbed Patrick, so you've got another subscriber. Mark Plays is on. How's everybody? He says. DJ Ian, he's still on. He's kept on. Brilliant guy he is. I really like Ian. I've interviewed him, you know, so it's all in the playlist on the one-to-ones. So we've mentioned your weaknesses then. What are your strengths on YouTube? Because I think you've got many, looking at your back catalogue of videos.
Yeah, well, thanks for that. Hopefully the people that watch them think the same. What are my strong points? Well, I mean, there's a friend of mine who sometimes accompanies me there, Gary. He was in the one where I crashed the drone, and we would tend to go every now and again, go out together, which always helps when you have somebody else there too. And he would sort of say, yeah, you tend to take the bull by the horns and get into the thing properly and really get down deep. So, and study it to the point where I'm not happy until I know exactly what's going on. So that's sort of probably a good thing, where I'm not content myself with, I don't want to say mediocre videos, but just more or less doing them. I want to sort of make them better. And I mean, like at the moment, my thing is color grading, where I now realize, now that I've got over the initial, yeah, everybody can do a nice reveal shot of a castle, but you know, what are the colors like? What are the clouds like? What filters am I using? What color grading can I do? And now my dilemma is that all of my footage doesn't match necessarily. You know, my camera that I use from the ground's different so now I'm into, you know, the D-Cinelike and the D-Log, and I've actually just this week purchased another camera that I'll be able to use to get more slow motion, because I don't have any of that in my videos, and I think it's a very nice artistic end of things, and I can get some sort of log footage where I'll be able to grade it all properly and make it sort of be coherent. So that's the goal now, hopefully for next year, where I'll continue to get better at the color grading. I sort of did know a bit about it through Lightroom for doing photography, so I'm not starting from zero. You know, I understand the basics of light and saturation and, you know, contrast and things like that, but I'm by no means an expert at all.
Yeah, I can understand that. So what camera have you recently bought then for yourself?
Well, I bought the GH5, which is Lumix Panasonic GH5. Didn't buy it because of vlogging in any way, even though I do know that Casey's using it at the moment, but I didn't buy it for that at all. In fact, I don't even want to use it for vlogging because I've got a good enough setup in the office and the little handheld one. I bought it more for its slow motion capabilities and its cinematography and its lightness and its image stabilization, and the fact that you can walk with, you know, a few people had criticized some of my videos, when I say criticize, but in a positive way, saying, you know, some of your footage when you walk along is very shaky, and I want to get more smooth footage there to make the experience more enjoyable. So I've just purchased that, and you know, I'll probably spend the next 3 or 4 weeks learning how to use the damn thing, because I was very much a Canon user, and I understood it pretty well. So
yeah, brilliant camera for cinematography, the GH5, absolutely brilliant. So what is it in slow motion? 120 frames of it.
You can go right up to 128 or whatever it is. It's got 5 or 6 or 7 different settings, and I'm interested to start going into that. So I look forward to, and plus the photography. And see, I had when I got into photography again after many years of not. So I was into it when I was younger, and then I sort of left it for a while, and then I, through Gary, my friend, I was like, Gary, we need to get back into this, because there's only so much you can do of sports and hiking and stuff. So I got into that, and I bought a Canon 5D Mark II, which was a brilliant camera back in the day, but it has kind of aged now, and that's the one that I permanently have sitting in my office.
Yeah.
When I start off my videos and I do a bit of the office chat. So I have a whole setup there with the lights, the microphone, the camera, a little external monitor, and I never touch that. And I don't want to touch it, because every time I would take it away to do other things, I would spend, an hour setting it back up again.
Yeah.
So yes. I'm really just going to use that for that. And the GH5 is going to be out and about more, because the little small G7X Mark II that I have is fine, but it's very limited in as much as it's really just a point and shoot.
Yeah. So have you got many lenses for the Panasonic then?
No, I just got the 12 to 18 Leica lens, which is the one they recommend, and I'm just going to buy a converter and use my Canon lenses.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have 3 or 4 prime lenses with them, and there is an adapter there that will work with it, and it's being used, and lots of cinematographers are using them. So I want to take advantage of the 2 or 3 decent lenses I have, and I'll throw on, I have a wee 50mm plastic Canon lens that I picked up years ago for about 50 quid, and I'll probably just leave that on.
Yeah.
The one in the office.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. And then I'll rock on with the other lenses, and that way I'll be able to justify on my conscience that I haven't wasted all that expense over the years, and I'll be able to use that kit, because I very much do use the stuff that I have. And then I've got the wee GoPro for the car when I'm filming in the car. I have a GoPro session, or GoPro 5, Hero 5, and then I've got the small session for like water, and the wee man plays around with that too when he's about the house, so. But
yeah. Have you updated the GH5 with the latest software? Because I think once you've got that firmware on, it will film in 6K, won't it? I think.
Yeah, well, the firmware update I think is more for the vlog type thing work, and I do plan on doing that, but I don't plan on doing it for a week or two just to get familiar with what the normal settings are. And but I do plan to. But I'll probably spend hours watching tutorials online, and I've already started a playlist where it's tips and tricks for it. So I'm looking forward to that. It's more because I've realized that drone footage by itself isn't enough.
Yeah. Oh no, because
there needs to be a story. There needs to be more D-log or B-log, B-roll as they call it.
Yeah.
It's just essential to the story, so I want to make that more interesting, and I've incorporated that a bit more now, and it seems to be being well received.
It does. It makes your finished product or production a lot better, a lot more interesting. Because when you look at a lot of YouTube channels, they've got no really video skills at all. They just use the phone, show what they're doing, and there's no story to most of the people that of a lot of the videos that are up there on YouTube. I mean, I watch. I don't know whether you follow Fun for Louis' channel at all, do you?
I don't follow it regularly, but I have watched his videos and I'm aware of who he is. And
have you seen his round the world trip that in the light plane that he's presently doing? He's on a 3-month trip.
No, I haven't seen that one. But as I say, I've watched a lot of his stuff. But how's that going for him?
brilliantly. You know, I mean, some of the shots from the aircraft, you know, because he's got a GoPro on both wings, and he had one tail, and exceptional shooting. And he's just put the new 360 Lumia on one of the wings. So eventually he's going to put that footage on as well.
Very good, very good. Yeah, it moves so fast though; it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, oh, it is. Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, you know, I've been looking into a 360 camera, and I think, is it worth it at present? No, because technology, it's a new, you know, it's in its infancy at present, isn't it? I think so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think you've. What's been your greatest achievement to date?
In my YouTube life, it's been learning how to use Final Cut Pro.
Very good program.
And probably learning how to fly the drone too. Even at that, I'm not that great at it, but
yeah. Can you tell the viewers what drone you have got, Patrick? By the way, because I meant to ask you what.
I have the Phantom 4.
Yeah,
I have the Phantom 4. I think it's the Phantom 4 standard. I mean, it was the one that I supposed was the latest one whenever I bought it. But I promised I wouldn't be upgrading until I got the hang of it properly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I haven't gone for the Mavic, and I haven't gone for any of the other ones, because I think the setting, because the firmware is being updated by DJI, it's the same firmware in all of them. So I think I can achieve the same cinematic shots with the Phantom 4. And I don't really think I need to upgrade it in any way, and I just really want to keep it to get my money's worth. I actually nearly lost it the second day I ever used it. And it was one of my first crash videos where I nearly sent it into the sea. And it literally was the second day I flew it, and I was up in a holiday town. I had 2 pints of beer with my dinner, and I went out afterwards, and I must have been half tipsy because I nearly sent it into the sea. And if I had of that day, I probably would have just not bothered again, because it was so expensive, as you know. But no, I managed to live to tell the tale and continued from there. So yeah, Phantom 4.
So you've never thought about updating now to the Mavic Pro then?
No, I'm kind of waiting for the next version.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, the thing about the Mavic Pro that I like, the one thing that I like, is the tripod mode, where you can film it. What's it fly at about 2 miles an hour, and you've got better control where you can go through tight.
Okay. Spaces.
Yeah, tight spaces. That's the only thing I would buy the Mavic for.
Okay, fair enough. No, I probably will. I guess I think I feel more comfortable with the bigger joysticks at the minute as opposed to the smaller ones. I mean, I kind of missed the whole gaming.
Yeah.
In as much as, well, I was kind of studying while it was all going on, and then I caught the game late. So a lot of people feel more comfortable with a smaller joystick, whereas I'm happy enough with a bigger one at the moment.
Yeah. Richard Parmesano's on now. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's another droner from the States, I think he is from, yeah. I reviewed his channel on my review show on Monday. So, what hobbies have you besides YouTube and your business?
I play golf.
Got a good handicap?
Well, I mean, officially it's probably about 18, but I would play regularly. During the summer, I'd play at least once a week. And I normally play on Mondays, but this last while I haven't. But there's a couple of us play because I work in retail on Saturdays, and then on Sunday I'm with the family. Well, sometimes I take Monday off, and I would do a bit of golf. I mean, you know, I play the games from scratch as such. So I just go around the course and whatever, you know, just count up the scores. So, but yeah.
Yeah, relaxing. That. Oh well, it's a good hobby then. What type of computer system are you editing on?
Well,
Mac or whatever.
Yeah, I'm using the Mac. I have, well, through the fact that I had that magazine a few years ago, so I've got an iMac in my office, which is an older machine, but I use that for like watching my YouTube tutorials and stuff, and I have a lot of stuff on the hard drive there. And then I've got a MacBook Pro laptop, and then I've another MacBook Pro, the more newer one, which I use almost just for video editing now. And I use the one I'm talking to you on now for, it just happened to be that that's the one that I came in from work late, so I haven't even gone out to the office there. So I use this one for work, and I bring that to other people's premises. So I've got lots of other people's stuff on this one. And then I've got one now that I'm using exclusively for OBS and for editing, and it's a lot faster. So yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Good then. Well, I'll ask you this question though. Do you enjoy travelling? And I think we've had a few answers on that, where you worked in your past as you were younger.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I don't enjoy the going from A to B. I enjoy when I'm there. I wouldn't be that. I would have been a nervous flyer back in the day, because I had an incident where I was in a plane that had to make an emergency landing because it filled up with smoke inside the cabin, and it kind of freaked me out a wee bit, albeit it was only a small flight. But that kind of knocked me for a few years, and I didn't enjoy the going from A to B. But I've got better now, and I like the thought of, you know, being, say, in Spain or in England or in Italy or whatever, but I don't really enjoy I don't start to enjoy it until I land, if that makes sense.
I can understand that then. So that just leads me on, because I haven't got this question down. It just came into my mind. So if you had the opportunity with your drone, what place would you really love to fly your drone that you haven't already?
Well,
anywhere in the world. That don't mean just Ireland. Anywhere in the world, where would you like to fly your drone?
Well, I mean, recently I've been watching a couple of videos, and I'd watched an English photographer called Carl Taylor. Is it Carl Taylor Photography?
Yeah.
And he's from the Isle of Wight or somewhere. And I wouldn't mind going to Iceland for the droning end of things. Albeit I don't know if I could hack the bad weather. If it was decent enough weather and see the northern lights and that sort of thing, I could. It's fairly close to us, I suppose, only a couple of hours away. I haven't really thought where else. I suppose America would be lovely too if you were to go, but you can't fly in the national parks, I imagine.
Yeah. This is it. I went to Agadir earlier in the year. Took me drone with me.
That's in America, is it?
Morocco, yeah.
Oh, Morocco,
and I asked if I could fly in Agadir, and they said no, even on the beach, because as you're walking along, because what happened in Tunisia, as you're walking along the beach here, you see no end of security with guns, and that's the reason why they wouldn't let me fly in Agadir. And I think it's the same in Marrakesh as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, so you're limited to going out into the desert or whatever, well away from security area, aren't you, really, you know, and just filming sand or sea, to me, unless you've got a good coastline, a good, you know, like cliffs like down the way, or they're interesting, or like you going over castles or ruins or churches even, you know, because I think you can make some good stories about historical churches.
Yeah, the history behind them and what happened and why, and very
know,
much so.
Or war sites, you know. I mean, I'd love to film, you know, like in Belgium and France and places like that, where they had the gun, Gunneries or whatever, you know, and other places. But I don't know whether you could again, because there's not many videos on places like that. Because I mean, when I do my review show, I spend about 20 hours looking through videos that I think are worthy to go up, that I think people will subscribe to.
Yeah, well, feel free to take any of my channels.
Yeah.
Actually, not the Selling Online one, just use the drone channel.
Yeah. Don't worry, Patrick.
Work away.
Yeah. Because I mean, what I fancy doing, you know, really now, because I'm getting fed up with the review show the way it is, I'm looking to alter it a bit. Instead of just downloading one video, I want to download maybe 5 or 6 and edit them together and make a story. As you said, you want a story. So, you know, do a little bit myself, edit your videos into the way I would edit it and put it up and review the channels that way. Because, you know, I do like the way you review drone channels. And I think you have got a niche in the market, because I don't see anybody else doing it your way.
Okay, well, hopefully so. I hope you're right.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I've looked round, and I think the way you're doing the reviews on the drone footage is, you know, it's unique to you. And all right, you are going to get people copying you now, because they'll take a look at your channel, think, cool, that's a good way of reviewing drone footage. Individual drone channels, and going through the footage and saying where you could improve it with your advice to them. Yeah,
well, as long as it doesn't become, as long as I don't end up saying the same things to everybody, which I hope I don't. You know, it's very much unscripted, so and then you hope that you say it in the, as the famous English comedian would say, in the nicest possible way or in the best possible taste, you know, that people will actually enjoy it, and not, you know, you don't want to be insulting people and saying they're terrible, but at the same time you can be nice about it, hopefully.
Yeah. Foundation Ariel says, I'll do the same. I don't know, like your interview, Owen. So I'm just having a look. So Keith, is he a pincher or a thumper? Well, I don't know. I don't get this, Owen. Am I a pincher or a thumper? I've got no idea on that. I'm trying to follow it as I'm talking to you then. So you seem a bit tired now. So do you want to finish this interview, or are you willing to go on for a few more minutes?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, well, I just thought, well, you've been working, you know. I mean,
no, I'm all right. Don't worry.
I'm all right, Patrick, see, because I'm retired. I can stay in bed, but I don't.
Well, I'm working in the shop tomorrow because one of the girls is off sick. So, but when you've young kids, you know, I'll be up at 7:30 anyway. But don't worry, I'm fine.
Okay then. So it is one then. If you won the lotto or lottery, whether it's the Irish or the EU one, the European one, what would you spend your money on?
Well, I need to play it a bit more to start off. But what would I spend my money on? Well, I'd probably listen. I would like to think that I would, you know, sort out all your family and friends. I've always said, though, I would never give lump sum gifts. I would just set up standing orders into all their accounts, because you know, and then every month deposit whatever the appropriate amount would be, because knowing some of my friends and family, that probably just blow it all in one foul swoop, and then I would probably end up having to give them more than would be worth it. So I'd like to sort them all out so as they'd never need to work again, pay off their houses or whatever, and then just, you know, deposit an X amount into their account every month. So that would be that sorted. And I'd love, at the minute, I'd love to be doing more of this, you know, but
yeah, but I mean, because you've got to earn a living, you know, and you're still at work. Yeah, I can understand that. But hopefully we will see more of you doing live streams, whether it's the interviews, because I thought the quality of the interview on OBS through Skype is a lot better than the quality of the Hangout one.
Do you think?
Yeah. because you can do the split screen
Yeah.
in OBS on Skype, you can't do a split screen on Hangouts. You've got less control on Hangouts than OBS and through Skype. So, you know, looking at the way you do it on Skype, yeah, I think I'm going to go that way with the one-to-one interviews, as long as you can stream it on YouTube at the same time. And
Which you can.
Yeah. So can you have more in on Skype call and stream like you can on Hangouts through OBS?
I don't think so.
Oh, you can only have one then.
I think so, yes, but don't quote me on that. I'm not too sure.
I don't know. You know, I'm going to look into it because I mean, I know Vinny G over in Australia uses OBS a lot, and I've been watching him, and I've been watching other people tutorials on OBS. And you know, for my one-to-one, the split screen looks good.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned before we came on air, I sort of got the idea of having the two people on the one screen at the same time through Joe Rogan's interviews, where you're actually seeing both of them chatting to each other, and because they're not sitting in an office space with you, I thought it was better to have both of us on the screen at the same time, so that someone who's watching can see the reactions of both at the same time. I suppose in the Hangout, when I talk, do I go onto your screen or what? Does that?
Yeah. On Hangouts, whoever's talking comes onto the full screen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah. When you watch it back, you'll be able to see it. You know, that's the thing about Hangouts, that when whoever talks or any sound, that goes onto the big screen. And like with Hangouts, you've also got the lower third where you can put your name and who you're interviewing or whatever information you want to put on that.
Yeah.
You know, so there's for and against for both, really.
Yeah. Well,
the only thing I do like about OBS is that you can do green screening where you can't on Hangouts.
Yes, and again, that was me getting into depth. Instead of just doing the normal OBS, I then got into, well, let's do the green screen, because I had a green screen anyway, and I thought, well, let's see if we can. My ultimate goal was obviously through the reviews that I wanted to have my face in the corner while you were seeing the footage.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of technical stuff there to have the sound going through, you know, to be able to listen to the sound on the computer at the same time as my sound. But there's tutorials out there to try and get it all set up. So
I have watched them, you know, and I think you know, I am going to give OBS a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just answering AKA Our Life, because I won a $25 gift voucher on their channel on Sunday, because they did their first live stream and they've just got over 1,000 subscribers. And like yourself, they've only been going just over a year on YouTube, you know. So what you know, I look at it and I think, well, like you've got 1,660 odd subscribers. You've had 177,000 views, and yet you've only put up 47 videos. Well, 48 were the one you put up today. And to have that many views on 48 videos, you are doing remarkably well.
But is that not the majority of them through that one video where I was with Casey?
Yeah. But, you know, it's still that you've still only had 48 videos you've put up, and you've got 1,660 odd subscribers. So you are doing something right. People must enjoy your channel. And
I might just be saying to them, subscribe. They may not be loyal followers, as you know, there may not be any community there.
Yeah, well, listen, what I've found out while I've been on YouTube, you have about 40 or 50 loyal supporters or in your community who will watch every video, will comment, and the rest really are dead wood. You know, they subscribe to you, but they never comment, they never very few watch your video. You know, I mean, I think I'm subscribed now to about 900 odd channels myself, and it's very hard to follow each one. Yeah. So, you know, I try to watch at least a minute or 2 minutes of the videos. If the videos are 14, 15 minutes long, I'll then 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll make a comment.
Yeah.
You can't watch 14 or 15 minutes.
No.
You know, like, to me, I think the average video should be between 6 and 8 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Even on one-to-ones that, like I'm doing with you, that the average a lot of the people don't stay in. So that's why when it's finished, you've got perhaps that, like with Jenna, I was on for about an hour and 20 minutes with her interview, and I ended up with 100 views.
Yeah.
But as I said, I had 28, 29 watching at one time. Like now, we've got 14 watching. Right. DJ Ian's Entertainment has stayed with us. Vlog from the Bog, Pixie's channel has stayed with us. But you get those that come in, and Jeanette Pickering, her channel stayed in. So you get a lot who watch 5 or 10 minutes of it and then leave and then come back perhaps another 5 or 10 minutes afterwards and see how the conversation's going. So we've got Kevin in, another droner. So I don't know whether you follow Expat of Mazaron, do you, Sean?
Yeah, I actually have watched a couple of his videos. I think in some, did you interview him
yeah,
a while back? I think that would have been one of the first streams that I watched of yours, and then obviously I went on and checked out his channel.
Yeah,
that might have been a long time ago, was it?
Yeah, that was about 6 or 7 months ago when I interviewed Sean.
Well, I probably have watched your stuff on and off since, you know, back then.
Very good, Patrick, because I appreciate that.
Well, I remember watching that one, and then I went on and checked out a few of his things because I was trying to work out, you know, where exactly he was living in Spain. And then because I lived in Spain, I was interested in seeing, I think he's down around Murcia or somewhere, isn't he? Somewhere around there. And I actually think today he commented on one of my videos, which was the first time I had seen that. I think he said something nice about about that upload, and he might have said he had subscribed. So I appreciated that, and yeah, but I had watched some of his stuff before, because I'm thinking, you know, Murcia is quite arid.
Yeah,
the area of Alicante and all that area. It's not, you know, I worked a bit in around Elche and Alicante back in the day, and I remember, you know, it's not outside of, say, the touristy areas. You're up in the mountains, and you got to work hard, I'd say, to keep it entertaining. So I was interested in seeing what he was up to.
Yeah. Well, he's starting back on Sunday with his live streams from 8 p.m. UK time. He does live streams, you know, doesn't have people on. It's all done from the chat. And he gets up, when he finished in the beginning of May, I think he used to get about 50 or 60 of us in the chat room. So he's starting his series back on Sunday, the 1st of October. So
very good.
Just a bit of a plug for Expat of Mazaron's channel.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye on that. As you say, it's hard to keep an eye on everything, but yeah.
So when's your next live stream, either interviewing or your reviewing channel?
I might do one tomorrow night where I'll review some footage. I don't have an interview for this week, I don't think. I have a fellow who wants to be Skyped next week. I think I was trying to maintain that on Wednesday night it would be the Skype one, and on Thursday night would be the review. Yes. So I might do Thursday night the review. Wednesday night I'll probably not have anybody at this stage, and then yeah, I'll see if I might do one live stream a week, if not 2, and then I still want to continue to upload. I have a couple of videos in the pipeline that I just have to work through the edits. So of the second part of the one I posted last Friday, which was about the giant Irish deer, so I'll do that either probably next Friday it'll go, and then I'll have a few from up around the coastline that I did. So I'll get about 2 videos out of that.
Oh, great. Oh, I'll look for, because I pressed the bell, so I do get notified when yours, so.
Thank you.
Because I watch everything you put up, I prefer watching YouTube than TV,
Yeah. Well, I'd be the same.
Yeah, and it's like the one-to-ones. If I could get more, I'd do them 3 or 4 times a week because I just enjoy. Last week I did 3, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I enjoyed each interview with people, but it's these bigger ones because like Casey Neistat, I've messaged him on YouTube quite a few times for a one-to-one, but no go.
I wouldn't say so. I met the man and I had a bit of an interview with him, and I really exploited that and created a video from it. But I might see him next month because there is a drone tech conference in Dublin next month, and I'm going to go to. But I'm not going to, go looking to say hello to him again because I've done that, and I feel like I know him now, and I'll let others get a chance to chat with him.
Yeah. So what is he like as a person then, Patrick?
Yeah. Oh no, he is very genuine. Like he comes across in the videos. That particular event that I was at was in Belfast, and it was the first year, so it was a very small premium. I think it was an extra 20 quid. It was something very small anyway to get into like a private meeting room, and he was there, and Ben Brown was there, who's a famous vlogger, and Sonduras was there, and the guys from What's Inside were there. So it was I got a good chat with all of them.
Yeah.
Which you probably wouldn't get in America in these big events that he does. So the fact that there weren't that many people in Belfast that probably knew him.
Yeah.
Back then, outside of perhaps the kids and that, but they probably were, I don't know, could have been at school or could have been anywhere, so it was a chance to see him. So yeah, I thought he was quite genuine and nice.
Yeah, I keep on asking my grandson for an interview, but he won't let me. He won't give me one. And if I could get him on interview, I think the sub count would go up and everything. He's famous as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's number 5 in the world poker player. He won the big drop 3 years ago in Vegas. He won 10.8 million. He came second in it, and that year he won 20-odd million altogether.
Well, that's the same as winning the lottery. I hope he sorted you out.
Yeah, he's looked after. Yeah. I've had no money, but he took us to Florida. He's taken us to Vegas. He's taken his grandmother to Venice and Cannes, and he's taken his mother with him, so yeah. But I keep on saying, can I have an interview with you, please, Sam? And if I could get an interview with him, people would be interested, I think.
Yeah,
and see, it's because he's a professional poker player and he's number 1 in the UK. He knows all the Manchester United team, and he knows Wayne Rooney personally and all this. And I thought if I could get an interview with him, and then I could get an interview with all the Man U footballers.
You're networking.
Yeah, my channel would go up, and then there's all the other poker players that he knows, and I'm thinking, because I've told him my interview skills are getting better and better. But he goes, no, I ain't got time.
Someday.
Yeah, someday, yeah. Because he plays a lot online now because he's got sponsors, and he's always had sponsors, but he plays a lot online now, and he stays in bed all day and gets up and he's all night online playing poker.
Yeah, you can only do that for so many years though until you get tired of that too. But
yeah, well, he's only mid-30. Well, no, 31, I think he is now.
Yeah, well, he'll be well sorted by the time he retires.
Yeah, and he used to be a plumber, and he thought, why should I be a plumber for £11 or £12 an hour? and he's always been good at playing. I mean, he used to go in as a kid into the pub and listen to the machine, and when he was old enough to go in and play on the machine, he knew when it was going to drop, you know.
Oh, very good.
And you know, he took poker up because he was a footballer, damaged his knee, couldn't play anymore, and that's when he took poker up and he excelled at it, you know. So let's see, I'm just thinking. Well, it is, you know, I've never asked this one to any of the ones who I've interviewed them. So if you were Prime Minister for a day, what would be the first thing you did or do?
I don't know if I can answer that one totally, but at the minute, well, I probably, no, I don't want to say anything controversial, so I would probably fix the NHS.
Would you?
I'd try and sort it out anyway, because it's hard to, it's a beast.
Yeah. Good answer. I like that one. Turn it into a dictatorship, Owen Williams said. And we've got, who's this? My Sky 5D, is it? Sorry about that, I can't see. Oh, wait. Got a few on here that I've never come across before.
Oh, dear. Oh.
Yeah, AK Kevin Subject. Oh, yeah, they're all subbing each other.
Make sure they sub to
yeah. Don't forget to sub to Patrick's channel. You know, yeah. I put it's in the description anyway.
All right, good enough.
So, what that? So, favorite music or band or individual artist?
I'm easily pleased in the world of music, so I kind of I like. I'm very varied. I love all sorts of music, to be honest. So, I mean, I've gone through my heavy metal phases when I was a kid, rock music, and now I like I'm really easily pleased that way. I even like classical music. I've been to Guns N' Roses concerts, and I've been to Andrea Bocelli concerts. So,
oh yeah, so have I.
You know,
yeah. So just get off that topic for a second, because every YouTuber who I have ever spoken to finds it very difficult to find the right type of music to go with videos.
Yeah.
You have the same problem.
Yes, but although it's become easier since I subscribe to that Epidemic Sound, which is that sort of paid service where you can search a bit more, and you know that they're all copyright free, or they're all in line with the YouTube rules. So that's made it a lot easier for me.
And if you don't mind me asking, Patrick, how much is that to join?
I think it's like $9.99 a month.
Oh, so it's reasonable price then.
Yeah, and I think if you hunt around the internet, you'll probably find a couple of discount codes.
Yeah.
Or if you're subscribed to other things like TubeBuddy and some of those things to help your channel grow, I think you get 40, 30, 20% off. I just pay the $9.99 or whatever it is, because it just saves me so much time.
Yeah. Because that's always been one of my weaknesses, finding the right type of music to go with the drone footage or whatever video I'm doing. So back to editing skills. Do you edit to the beat of the music?
I try to. I try to. Depends on the tone and type of stuff I'm doing, but I try to use. Yeah, I don't just fire up the tune and fire up the edit. I try to match it in, but I think even on a more advanced level, you don't even have to do that. So I'm learning that way too. But yeah, I do try to do that a bit, so that, and the people do see it and say, I see you've paid a bit more attention to that. And so yeah, I do try to match it up as best I can.
Oh, brilliant then. So from there we go on to who's your favourite film and director?
Again, I'm very easily pleased in the world of films. I enjoy a good film. I like. I'm not big into sort of. I find it hard to get a good comedy that I would like, but I do like thrillers. I like all of Quentin Tarantino's stuff actually as a director and filmmaker. So I like that. I like any of the Stephen King stuff that's been adapted into films, The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, all that type of thing.
Oh, yeah,
So,
good choice of movies there.
Yeah. But then I like Pulp Fiction, and I like those ones from Quentin Tarantino where the dialogue's very good. I love a good dialogue in a film. And he does that very well. I like Guy Ritchie's films. I think he's very good too in his dialogue and his style. So I like that also.
So if you had the chance to make a film, what type of style would you use?
I've never thought about making a film.
Because I'm a YouTube creator like you.
Yeah.
That's something I've always wanted. You know, I mean, I like Psycho. You know, I mean, the stabbing scene in the shower. You know, the 18 different camera angles in that. I think. I'd love to be able to film a shot like that with decent actors and actresses. You know, because I forget the film. I remember what was it in now? I can't remember. Just my mind's gone blank. But he just went round the table, the camera person. You know, and it was brilliant the way it was done.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I keep on thinking. I follow a channel called Dark Matter, and he's been putting a series on. You think you can dance.
Okay.
So I was thinking about getting the point of interest video, the drone up with me dancing, different view.
Hey, it'll definitely go viral, that one.
Yeah. So you know, I thought, you know, because I'm thinking, what can I do now? Because you know, the weather's changing. We're not going to get out with a drone that much. Because I mean, sometimes I use the drone not flying handheld just for the gimbal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, because I've got a gimbal, you know, but it's not a battery one. It's one of these where you've got to do it and you're walking around like that. But I've got the FZ 1000 pants on it, and that's got a 5 or 4 stabilizer in it, you know. So the footage when I'm walking isn't bad on it, but it's not as good as having a gimbal.
The gimbal being the battery powered one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I suppose that'll be the next thing I'll have to get.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you're going into it, even with the GH5, you still need an electronic gimbal, you know, because you still get camera shake. Even they have got the gimbals built, you know, the stabilizer built in, but you still need a gimbal, you know, some sort of gimbal. But there again, you can use your drone. Just carry your drone, press the record. You know, and then put your sound on later. Yeah,
you're right.
Because that's what I do. You know, if I want a gimbal shot, I just use the drone, handheld, press the record, and then let it go, and then you know, I don't even check the footage because I know it's steady. If I'm going forward, and then, you know, put some sound effects. If you want a commentary, add your commentary later, and it saves you what, £600 for a gimbal.
Yeah,
you've already got the gimbal.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I use it sometimes, but not consciously as a separate.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's you've got there, you know. So because I've got rid of most of my equipment. I mean, the best thing I ever bought was a crane to do the crane shot and the slider. You know, I mean, I think you can get a slider off eBay now, a decent one, for about £50.
Wow.
And that is very good, you know, because if you've got like you know, when you're setting up your drone and you've got the camera on the tripod. It's just nice if you've got somebody with you to do a sliding shot as you get putting the propellers on the drone or getting the drone prepared. It's brilliant, you know. Although you don't overdo that shot, it's, you know, in some you know, some situations it's very good. Like if you are how can I say, you've got a shot of the drone just taking off, hovering about 2 foot off the ground, and you've got a rock or some flowers there that you can do a sliding shot. It just, you know, it visually makes it better.
Yeah, I must try that. I actually have a slider and an electronic one that I used for filming mattresses. So I could. It's just the fact of having to bring it all out to the countryside might be a bit cumbersome, but I might incorporate a bit more of that as time goes on.
Yeah. Well, just the tip that I don't use it now, you know, but the crane I wish I'd kept. I mean, because that would have been useful now, the big crane, you know, because I had the tripod, but you put the crane on and everything like that. Oh, absolutely. And you can go. But mind you can get similar shots with the gimbal now. Yeah,
and the drone too.
And doing things, you know. So anyway, it's 1 minute past 11. I know I've got quite a few more questions to ask you, but I think we've been on, nearly 2 hours on this stream.
Yeah, I'll probably have to wrap it up fairly fast.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah,
Patrick, I hope you have as well. I hope you know, it hasn't put you off being interviewed. It ain't put you off my channel.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'll still follow you, and I look forward to following your channel, seeing how it grows.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Yeah, I appreciate this one-to-one with you. If there's any droners who are watching, people who have got a drone, and that's what the channel's all about, Patrick is looking for people to interview about drones only. So go onto his channel, leave him a comment, or put it on the YouTube comments, because one-to-ones are all different type of channels. I mean, Owen's a 14-year-old. I've got Sassy Singer. She's a 13-year-old singer, I think. So when I interview those, I always get permission off the parents first. And I interview beauty diva channels, over 60 channels, and anyone who I can get to interview who would like to be interviewed by myself.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get you onto my interview too through the OBS, if you don't mind, sometime fairly soon.
Yeah, anytime, Patrick. I would thoroughly enjoy coming on your channel as well. So
I think we'll do that. We'll make that happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody who's been in the chat, for coming on to this one-to-one. Sorry, I've been neglecting the chat. Bossman says he's pleased to have met you as well. Thanks, Vlog from the Bog, aka Our Life. I want to do an interview with you next week, but I will be in touch. So, and DJ Ian's Entertainment, thanks a lot for all dropping by. So, bye, everybody.
Yeah, and thank you, Keith, and I'll chat to you soon.
Okay, then keep in touch, Patrick.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye then.